Chapter 1. The Encounter. The exploration vessel, Stellar Whisper, cut through the dense atmosphere of Zari Prime like a sleek predator stalking uncharted prey. Captain Liam Hayes leaned forward in his chair, his hands steady on the ship's controls as the navigation system hummed softly around him. The cockpit was bathed in dim blue light, the only sound the faint whirring of machinery and the occasional beep of his instruments. Captain, the ship's AI, Hera, spoke with a voice that was calm and distinctly human-like. We are nearing the source of the anomalous signal. Landing coordinates have been calculated. Shall I initiate descent? Liam's gaze flickered to the monitor, where a pulsating red marked the origin of the mysterious transmission that had brought him to this remote corner of the galaxy. The signal had been interfering with communication networks in neighboring systems, and while most wrote it off as background noise, Liam's instincts told him otherwise. "Bring us down, Hera," he said, his voice steady. "Let's see what we're dealing with." As the Stellar Whisper descended, the view through the cockpit's windows shifted from the endless black of space to an otherworldly landscape. Zari Prime's surface was a tapestry of bioluminescent flora, with towering crystalline trees that glowed faintly in shades of green and blue. The ground below shimmered as if sprinkled with stardust, and the air seemed to hum with a faint, melodic vibration. "Atmospheric conditions are stable," Hera reported. "Radiation levels are within acceptable limits. However, energy signatures in the vicinity are fluctuating. Recommend caution." Liam smirked. "When have I ever not been cautious?" The AI didn't respond, though Liam imagined Hera might have rolled her eyes if she could. The Stellar Whisper touched down softly in a clearing surrounded by the glowing trees, their crystalline branches forming a natural canopy overhead. Liam powered down the ship and secured his equipment, strapping on his utility belt and checking the charge on his plasma sidearm. First steps on Zari Prime. The ship's ramp lowered with a quiet hiss, and Liam stepped onto the soft, mossy ground. The air was cool and carried a faint metallic tang, unlike anything he'd encountered before. He scanned the area with his handheld device, which immediately began picking up faint energy signatures. "Definitely not natural," he muttered to himself. The signal was stronger here, more defined. It pulsed rhythmically, like the beating of a distant heart, drawing him toward a ridge in the distance. The crystalline trees hummed faintly as he passed, their glow dimming and brightening in response to his movements. It was as if the planet itself were alive, watching him. "Hera," Liam said, activating his comlink, "keep the ship on standby. I'm heading toward the signal source. Be ready for immediate extraction if things go south." "Understood, Captain," Hera replied. "I'll monitor your vitals remotely." Liam made his way through the dense forest, the bioluminescent ground illuminating his path. The signal grew stronger with each step, its rhythmic pulse now audible as a low, resonant hum. As he crested the ridge, the forest opened into a vast, glowing meadow, and his breath caught at the sight before him. In the center of the meadow stood a massive structure, its surface glinting like polished obsidian. It was alien in design, with smooth, curving walls that pulsed faintly with an inner light. The structure seemed ancient, yet it radiated power, as if it were still alive and waiting for something or someone. Liam approached cautiously, his hand on his sidearm. The air here felt heavier, charged with an almost tangible energy. He was just about to take another step when he froze, his instincts screaming at him to stop. A figure emerged from the shadows at the base of the structure. The alien beauty. Liam's heart raced as he raised his weapon, his training taking over. The figure stepped into the light, and his breath caught in his throat. She was unlike anything he'd ever seen. The woman, if she could be called that, was tall and slender, her skin a shimmering gold that seemed to ripple with light. Her hair cascaded like silver threads, framing a face that was both alien and achingly familiar. Her eyes, large and luminescent, were a deep violet, glowing faintly as they locked onto his. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then, she spoke, her voice soft yet resonant, carrying an almost melodic quality. "Do you recognize me, human?" Liam blinked, his weapon still trained on her. "What?" Her expression shifted, a hint of sadness flickering across her face. "It's me, Ilera, your neighbor from Earth." The words hit him like a physical blow, and he lowered his weapon slightly, confusion and disbelief swirling in his mind. That's impossible. You can't be. I am, she said, stepping closer. It's been many years, Liam, but I haven't forgotten. Liam took a cautious step back, his grip tightening on his weapon. How do you know my name? What are you? Alara stopped, her gaze steady. I'll explain everything, but first, you need to trust me. You're in danger here. An interrupted reunion. Before Liam could respond, a sharp, mechanical whirring sound echoed through the meadow. Alara's eyes widened, and she grabbed his arm, pulling him toward the structure. They found us, she said urgently. We have to move. Who's they? Liam demanded, but he followed her, his instincts screaming that whatever was coming wasn't friendly. The whirring grew louder, and Liam glanced over his shoulder to see several hovering drones emerging from the forest. They were sleek and menacing, their metallic surfaces glinting in the light of the meadow. Each one was armed with what looked like plasma cannons, and they were closing fast. Move, Alara shouted, leading him to a small opening in the structure's base. The doorway slid open with a soft hiss as they approached, and they slipped inside just as the drones opened fire. The walls of the structure absorbed the blasts, glowing briefly before returning to their normal state. Inside, the air was cool and tinged with the faint hum of machinery. The walls pulsed with light, casting an eerie glow over their surroundings. Alara led him down a narrow corridor, her movements quick and sure. Care to tell me what's going on? Liam said, his voice edged with frustration. And why those things are trying to kill us? They're sent by those who control this planet, Alara replied, her voice calm despite the situation. They've been hunting me ever since I escaped. Escaped from what? She didn't answer immediately, instead stopping at a doorway that slid open to reveal a small, dimly lit chamber. We're safe here for now, she said, motioning for him to enter. Liam hesitated, then followed her inside. The door closed behind them with a soft hiss, and the hum of the machinery grew fainter. Alara turned to face him, her violet eyes searching his. There's so much to explain, but I need you to believe me, Liam. I'm not your enemy. Liam crossed his arms, his gaze wary. Start talking. You've got a lot of explaining to do. Alara nodded, her expression serious. I will. But first, answer me this: do you remember the girl who used to live next door to you? The one with the strange fascination for the stars? Liam frowned, fragments of memories flickering at the edges of his mind. Yeah, I remember. Her name was Alara. Alara's lips curved into a small, bittersweet smile. That was me. I wasn't human then, and I'm not human now. But I was sent to Earth for a reason that involves you. Liam stared at her, his mind racing. Everything about this mission had taken a turn he could never have anticipated, and the answers he sought seemed only to lead to more questions. Let's hear it, he said finally. What reason? Alara's expression grew serious. Because you're not entirely human either, Liam, and you're the key to saving both our worlds. Chapter 2. A Shared History. The faint hum of the alien structure seemed to resonate with Liam's pounding heart. He leaned against the sleek wall, his mind a storm of disbelief and questions. Across from him, Alara, the alien beauty who had claimed to be his childhood neighbor, stood with a calm yet intense gaze. Her violet eyes shimmered faintly in the dim light, their glow amplifying the surreal nature of the moment. Start at the beginning, Liam said, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. If what you're saying is true, you've got a lot of explaining to do. Alara nodded, stepping closer. It begins on Earth, more specifically in your small town, many years ago. The girl next door. I wasn't sent to Earth to harm anyone, Alara began. I was part of an initiative by the Zelvari Alliance, a coalition of advanced alien civilizations. They feared humanity's rapid technological growth and wanted to understand your species better to determine if you were a threat or a potential ally. Liam folded his arms, skeptical. So what? They dropped you on Earth to spy on us? Not exactly, Alara said. I was chosen to assimilate, to live among humans as one of you. My appearance was altered to look human, and my memories of my alien origin were temporarily suppressed. At least, that was the plan. But something unexpected happened. She hesitated, her expression softening. I met you. Liam's frown deepened. Me? Yes, Ilara said. I was just a child, and so were you. But even then, you stood out to me. You weren't like the others. While the other children teased me for being different, for not understanding all of your customs, you defended me. You showed me kindness when no one else did. Fragments of memories stirred in Liam's mind. He remembered a girl named Ilara, the quiet one who always seemed a little off. She had been shy, often watching the stars during recess, and she'd once explained constellations to him in a way that seemed far too advanced for her age. That was you, he said softly. I remember now. You were odd, but brilliant. Ilara smiled faintly. I wasn't supposed to form attachments, but I did. You became my anchor, my first real friend. The truth about her departure. Then you disappeared, Liam said, his voice tinged with accusation. One day, you were just gone. No warning, no goodbye. Ilara's smile faded, replaced by a look of regret. I didn't have a choice. The Zelvari Alliance recalled me. They had gathered enough data about humanity and decided to leave your world untouched for now. Liam raised an eyebrow. Untouched? That doesn't explain why you're here now, looking like this. Ilara sighed. When I returned to my people, my memories of Earth were supposed to fade. But they didn't. The bond one formed with you, the lessons I learned from your kindness, they stayed with me. It became clear to me that humanity wasn't a threat, but something far more important. A bridge to the greater galaxy. And your people didn't agree with you, did they? Liam guessed. She nodded. They thought my views were biased, corrupted by my time among humans. When I refused to denounce my beliefs, I became a liability. They cast me out, labeling me a rogue. I've been running ever since. Liam's forgotten past. Liam shook his head, trying to process the weight of her story. Okay, let's say I believe you. Why does this involve me? I'm just a pilot trying to make a living. Ilara's gaze sharpened. You're more than that, Liam. Your parents, they weren't ordinary humans. What are you talking about? He asked, his voice rising. My parents were farmers. Normal people. They weren't, Ilara said firmly. Your father worked for the Galactic Research Initiative, a secret human project that sought to decode alien DNA recovered from ancient artifacts. What your people didn't realize was that some of that DNA was still active. Liam's heart raced. Active? What are you saying? You carry a hybrid genome, Liam, Ilara said. Your DNA isn't entirely human. It contains markers from Zelvari genetics, making you unique. The Zelvari Alliance knew this, and it's one of the reasons they monitored your family so closely. Liam staggered back, his mind reeling. No, that's impossible. I've never shown any signs of being different. You wouldn't not until certain conditions were met, Ilara said. But the signal that brought you here? It's awakening those dormant traits. An interrupted revelation. Before Liam could respond, a deafening roar echoed through the structure. The walls shuddered, and the hum of the machinery grew erratic. They found us, Ilara said, her voice tight. We have to move. Who's they? Liam demanded, drawing his plasma sidearm. The Zelvari Alliance, she replied, her face grim. They want to ensure I don't reveal what I know and to capture you before your full potential manifests. The door to the chamber burst open, and two towering figures stepped inside. They were Zelvari enforcers, their sleek armor shimmering with an otherworldly light. Each carried a staff-like weapon that crackled with energy. Lyra Zelather, one of them said, his voice distorted by his helmet. You will surrender, and the hybrid will come with us. Liam stepped in front of Ilara, his weapon raised. Over my dead body. The enforcers didn't hesitate. They charged, their weapons humming with deadly intent. Liam fired, his plasma bolts deflecting harmlessly off their energy shields. Ilara moved beside him, her hands glowing with a faint light as she unleashed a wave of energy that sent one of the enforcers sprawling. Liam stared at her, stunned. What the hell was that? Later, Ilara shouted, grabbing his arm. We need to get to the core of this structure. It's the only place we'll have a chance. A race against time. The pair ran through the twisting corridors of the alien facility, the enforcers hot on their heels. The structure itself seemed to react to their presence, doors sliding open and pathways lighting up as if guiding them. What's at the core? Liam asked, his breaths coming in ragged gasps. A failsafe, Ilara replied. This facility was built to protect beings like UA Sanctuary for hybrids. If we can activate it, we might be able to neutralize the enforcers. And if we can't? She didn't answer, her expression grim. As they reached the central chamber, the door slid open to reveal a massive crystalline orb suspended in the air. It pulsed with a soft light, its surface etched with intricate patterns. Ilara approached the orb, her hands glowing again as she touched its surface. This will awaken your potential, Liam. But once it starts, there's no going back. Liam hesitated, the weight of her words sinking in. Then he nodded. Do it. The orb flared to life, bathing the room in blinding light. Liam felt a surge of energy coursing through him, his senses sharpening and his mind expanding in ways he couldn't comprehend. The enforcers burst into the room just as the transformation completed. But this time, Liam didn't run. Chapter 3. The Truth Beneath the Surface. The crystalline orb's light bathed the chamber in a radiant glow, pulsing in harmony with Liam's rapidly beating heart. He felt the energy surge through him, not just as a physical force but as something deeper, something that awakened a part of him he never knew existed. His vision sharpened, every detail of the room becoming crystal clear. His hearing picked up the faint hum of the orb, the low growl of the enforcers, and even Ilara's steady breathing. The Zelvari enforcers hesitated at the chamber's threshold, their weapons raised but their confidence wavering. The energy emanating from Liam was unlike anything they had ever encountered. What is this? One of them growled, his voice tinged with fear. It's his awakening, Ilara said, her tone defiant. She stepped beside Liam, her own hands still glowing faintly with energy. And it's far beyond anything your masters prepared for. Liam's awakening. Liam raised his hand instinctively, and the crystalline orb responded. Streams of energy flowed from its surface into him, wrapping around his arm like a living current. He felt his strength multiply, his body buzzing with raw power. One of the enforcers charged, his energy staff crackling with lethal intent. Liam didn't flinch. He raised his hand, and a barrier of shimmering light materialized in front of him. The enforcer's attack struck the barrier, shattering harmlessly. Before the enforcer could recover, Liam pushed forward, and a pulse of energy sent the armored figure flying across the chamber. The second enforcer hesitated, but didn't retreat. He raised his weapon, aiming for Ilara. Liam reacted without thinking. A streak of golden energy shot from his hand, striking the weapon and disarming the enforcer. In the blink of an eye, Liam was in front of him, gripping the enforcer's armor and lifting him off the ground. Why are you after me? Liam demanded, his voice reverberating with a strange, amplified quality. The enforcer struggled, his helmet's visor reflecting the glowing fury in Liam's eyes. You're an abomination, he spat. A threat to the balance of power. Liam's grip tightened, but Ilara placed a hand on his arm. He's not worth it, she said softly. Let him go. After a moment's hesitation, Liam dropped the enforcer, who scrambled backward before fleeing with his companion. The chamber fell silent except for the hum of the crystalline orb. The truth about the facility. Ilara approached Liam cautiously, her violet eyes searching his. How do you feel? Like I just became someone else, Liam said, his voice quieter now. He looked at his hands, which still faintly glowed with residual energy. What did that thing do to me? It activated the dormant Zelvari DNA in your system, Ilara explained. Your hybrid nature gives you abilities that surpass both humans and Zelvari. You're stronger, faster, and more connected to the universe around you. Liam frowned. Connected how? This facility was built by the Zelvari millennia ago, Ilara said, gesturing to the orb. It was meant to safeguard hybrids like you, individuals who could bridge the gap between species. The Zelvari feared the hybrid's potential and eventually abandoned the project. But this place remained, waiting for someone like you to activate it. So, I'm some kind of galactic bridge? Liam asked, his skepticism evident. Ilara smiled faintly. In a way, your existence proves that humans and Zelvari aren't so different after all, and that terrifies the Zelvari alliance. The bigger picture. The orb pulsed again, and a holographic projection filled the chamber. It showed a vast star map, with glowing lines connecting various systems. A central node in the map burned brightly, and Liam recognized it as Earth. "What is this?" he asked. "The network," Ilera said, awe in her voice. "It's a system of ancient Zelvari facilities scattered across the galaxy. Together, they hold the knowledge and power to reshape the galaxy's balance. Earth is the keystone." Liam stared at the map, realization dawning. That's why the Zelvari are afraid. If humanity gains access to this, we could challenge their dominance. "Exactly," Ilera said. "They see you as a threat, but also as a key to unlocking their greatest fear. An imminent threat." Before they could process further, the orb dimmed, and Hera's voice crackled through Liam's comm. "Captain, incoming hostiles. A Zelvari cruiser just entered the atmosphere. They'll reach your location in minutes." Liam cursed, his mind racing. "We can't let them destroy this place." "They won't," Ilera said, determination hardening her features. "This facility is more than a sanctuary, it's a weapon." She approached the orb, her hands glowing as she interfaced with its energy. The walls of the chamber trembled, and a deep rumble echoed through the structure. "What are you doing?" Liam asked. "Activating its defenses," Ilera replied. "This facility has the power to neutralize the Zelvari cruiser, but it needs both of us to activate its full potential." Liam stepped forward, placing his hand on the orb. The energy coursing through him intensified, and the entire chamber lit up with golden light. Outside, the structure's crystalline trees began to glow brighter, their hum rising to a deafening crescendo. The battle for the facility. As the Zelvari cruiser descended, its weapons trained on the structure, beams of energy erupted from the crystalline trees. They pierced the cruiser's shields, shattering its hull with precision. The massive ship wavered, its engines failing, before crashing into the forest in a fiery explosion. Inside the chamber, Liam and Ilera collapsed to their knees, the energy drain leaving them breathless. The orb dimmed, its task complete. "We did it," Ilera said, her voice shaky but triumphant. "For now," Liam replied, his gaze fixed on the holographic map. "But this isn't over. The Zelvari won't stop until they've erased every trace of this facility." Yes. A new mission. As they returned to the Stellar Whisper, Liam's resolve hardened. He now understood the stakes not just for himself, but for humanity and the galaxy as a whole. "We can't stay here," he said as they prepared for takeoff. "If the Zelvari know about this place, they'll send more forces." Ilera nodded. "There are other facilities, other pieces of the network. If we can reach them, we might stand a chance." Liam glanced at her, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Looks like you're stuck with me, neighbor." Ilera laughed softly. "I wouldn't have it any other way." As the Stellar Whisper lifted off, the glowing structure of the facility faded into the forest below. Liam and Ilera stared out at the stars, knowing that their journey was just beginning and that the truth they carried would change the galaxy forever. Chapter 4. The Fight for the Network. The Stellar Whisper tore through the void of space, its engines humming with urgency. Inside the cockpit, Liam Hayes sat at the controls, his jaw clenched in determination. Beside him, Ilera stared out at the stars, her violet eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. The silence between them was heavy not with unease, but with the weight of the mission ahead. The map projected by the Zelvari facility had revealed the locations of ancient sites scattered across the galaxy. Each site was a piece of a vast network, and together, they held the key to understanding the truth about the hybrid program and the role humans were destined to play in the galaxy. Their destination, Kirith Nexus, a planet deep in neutral space and home to the next facility. But the Zelvari Alliance wouldn't make it easy for them. Liam and Ilera knew they would be hunted every step of the way. The pursuit begins. The first sign of trouble came hours into their journey. The ship's proximity alarms blared, and Hera's calm voice broke the silence. "Captain, Zelvari warships have entered sensor range. They're on an intercept course." Liam swore under his breath, flipping switches on the control panel. "How far?" "Approximately 3,000 kilometers. They'll be in firing range within minutes." Ilera's expression darkened. "They must have tracked us from Zalari Prime. We can't let them capture us." Liam's fingers flew over the controls. "Hera, activate cloaking systems. Let's see if we can lose them in the asteroid field ahead." The Stellar Whisper banked sharply, diving into a dense cluster of asteroids. Massive rocks tumbled through space, their jagged surfaces illuminated by the faint light of a nearby star. Liam maneuvered the ship with precision, weaving through the chaotic maze while the Zelvari warships closed in. "They're still tracking us," Hera reported. "Cloaking systems are not fully masking our energy signature." Alara stepped forward, her hand glowing faintly as she touched the console. "I can amplify the cloak. Just give me a moment." Liam glanced at her, his voice tight. "Do whatever you have to, but make it fast." A desperate escape. Alara closed her eyes, focusing her energy. The ship's systems responded, the lights dimming as the cloaking field expanded. The Zelvari warships hesitated, their movements becoming erratic as they struggled to lock onto the stellar whisper. "It's working," Hera confirmed. "Their sensors are losing us." Liam pushed the engines to their limit, steering the ship deeper into the asteroid field. A sudden burst of plasma fire from one of the warships narrowly missed them, striking an asteroid and sending debris flying. "Hold on!" Liam shouted as he veered sharply to avoid the explosion. The stellar whisper emerged from the asteroid field moments later, its engines straining but intact. The Zelvari warships didn't follow, their sensors blinded by the enhanced cloak. Alara exhaled deeply, her hands trembling slightly. That was close. Liam smirked, his adrenaline still pumping. "Too close. But we're not out of this yet." Kirith Nexus. The planet Kirith Nexus loomed ahead, its surface a patchwork of metallic plains and glowing fissures. The facility they sought was hidden beneath the surface, shielded from detection by a natural energy field. As the stellar whisper descended, Hera provided an update. "The facility is located in a subterranean cavern. Scans indicate minimal external defenses, but I'm detecting faint power fluctuations, possibly automated systems." Liam glanced at Alara. "Sounds like a welcoming party." Alara nodded. "We'll need to be careful. These facilities were designed to protect themselves, even from their creators." The ship landed near a jagged fissure that led into the cavern. Liam and Alara disembarked, their weapons at the ready. The air was thick with a faint, metallic scent, and the ground glowed faintly beneath their feet. As they descended into the cavern, the facility came into view. It was similar to the one on Zalari Prime, with smooth, curving walls and a crystalline structure that pulsed with an inner light. But this one felt different, darker, more foreboding. "This place has been dormant for centuries," Alara said, her voice echoing softly. "But something feels wrong." Liam frowned. "Wrong how?" Before she could answer, the ground trembled, and a series of lights flickered to life along the walls. A deep, resonant voice filled the chamber, speaking in an alien language. Alara's eyes widened. "It's the facility's AI. It's scanning us." The voice shifted, addressing them in a language they could understand. "Access denied. Unauthorized presence detected. Initiating containment protocol." The facility fights back. The walls of the chamber began to shift, panels sliding open to reveal a network of mechanical arms and drones. The drones hovered in the air, their energy weapons charging. "Guess we're not welcome," Liam muttered, raising his plasma rifle. "How do we shut it down?" Alara pointed to the central crystalline structure. "We need to interface with the core. It's the only way to override the system." "Of course it is," Liam said, firing at an approaching drone. "Go. I'll cover you." Alara sprinted toward the core, her hands glowing as she prepared to connect with its energy. Liam held his ground, taking out drones with precise shots while dodging bursts of plasma fire. The mechanical arms reached for him, but he used his enhanced reflexes to stay one step ahead. "Almost there," Alara called out, placing her hands on the core. The structure flared with light, and the drones froze mid-air. Liam lowered his weapon, breathing heavily. "Nice work. Now let's find out what this place is hiding." The final revelation. The core projected a holographic map of the galaxy, similar to the one they had seen on Zalari Prime. But this time, the projection included data on the Zelvari Alliance and their secret operations. "This isn't just a network of facilities," Alara said, her voice filled with awe. "It's a repository of knowledge, everything the Zelvari wanted to keep hidden." Liam studied the map, his expression darkening. "They've been manipulating civilizations across the galaxy, suppressing anyone who could challenge them. And Earth is next." Alara nodded. "That's why they fear hybrids like you." You represent everything they can't control. The map highlighted a central location, Zelvaris Prime, the heart of the Zelvari Alliance. If we can take this information to their homeworld, Liam said, we can expose them, turn the galaxy against them. It's a dangerous gamble, Ilera warned, but it might be our only chance. A fight for the future. As they prepared to leave the facility, an alarm blared, and Hera's voice came through their comms. Captain, a Zelvari fleet is approaching the planet. We need to leave now. Liam and Ilera sprinted back to the Stellar Whisper, the weight of their discovery fueling their urgency. The ship's engines roared to life as they took off, narrowly escaping the fleet's assault. In the safety of hyperspace, Liam turned to Ilera. We have the truth. Now we just need to survive long enough to share it. Ilera smiled faintly, her determination shining through. We'll survive. And together, we'll change the galaxy.